Really silly, man. Shoot, man. What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Jay Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy. Before you end up like Beezy, man, make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you know about your boy Jay, it's in the description down below. But we got disturbing movies, man, based on terrifying real cases, man. Where should I put this at, man? Should I put this in a movies reaction playlist section, or should I put this in a true crime playlist section? You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, man, like I say, y'all love my Fire Stick, man. What's the name, bro? I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I said, man, it's so many good movies, man, on that Fire Stick, man. I'm so blessed, bro. You know what I'm saying? So freaking blessed. You know what I mean? To have that Fire Stick, man, at my disposal. If y'all don't know what a Fire Stick is, man. So glad, man. I'm not only stuck on Netflix anymore. You know what I'm saying? I remember days, y'all. I remember them days where I was just stuck on Netflix. You know what I mean? Missing all the good shows. Right? I'm like, I can't believe I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. You know what I mean? I could not believe how many good shows I was missing out on, man. Me just being on Netflix. Now I got Hulu, I got Netflix, Paramount Plus. You know what I'm saying? I got freaking Apple TV. You know, I got everything. What? All in one. You know what I mean? Prime TV. Shoot, what? I'm like, but y'all folks that's on Netflix, you think you got it good. I'm telling you, you don't see nothing. I'm telling you, most of the good movies, bro. And look, and this is just, you know what I'm saying? This is just the real facts. And I'm going to get into the video. Bro, if you just got Netflix, bro, I'm telling you, you missing out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Most of the good movies, bro, most of the good series, bro, are not on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? It's not on Netflix, bro. Most of that junk is on Paramount Plus, Apple TV, Netflix weak, bro. Once I got Fire Stick, bro, I seen how weak Netflix was, bro. You know what I'm saying? I seen how weak that junk was, bro. Started going on Apple TV. I started going on Paramount Plus. I started going on all these other. I'm like, oh my God, bro. When it comes to when it comes to, I'm watching The Shy right now, bro. When it comes to Sons of Anarchy, when it comes to all that junk, bro, that junk not on Netflix, bro. Prison Break was on Netflix. I think they took that junk off. And that's one thing about Netflix, bro. Netflix always taking off the good movies, bro. Raise your hand, bro, if y'all understand. Did you miss me? Raise your hands if y'all get what I'm saying, bro. Why Netflix always take off the good movies? That's what I'm saying. That's what I like about Netflix, bro. Like, I gotta get off Netflix. They always, we're taking this off. Last day on Netflix is, I'm like, bro, here these motherfuckers go. These motherfuckers go taking off the best movies. Here they go. You know what I mean? That last day to watch on Netflix is June 27th. I'll be heated, bro.
What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah, Disney Plus, bro. Disney Plus. Yep, Disney Plus. They got all that junk on Disney Plus.
What are you doing? Dad? Dad? What are you doing?
The freak?
The film industry loves the phrase based on true events. And yeah, sometimes they do get close to the truth. But as you'll see in today's video, the truth always remains much more horrifying than anything you'd ever imagine watching the movie based on it alone. I am absolutely addicted to watching movies, especially the ones based on true stories. But these ones, I wished I
Hey, chat, is Justice League tough? I was thinking about watching Justice League, man. Is Justice League tough, man? I need y'all to tell me right now.
True versions haunt me till this day. Viewer discretion is heavily advised.
Bro said Tubi. Oh my God. Bro said Tubi? What the freak? You know what I'm saying? Tubi? Bro, Tubi, bro, that's not even on. Bro, that junk is so weak, bro. Bro said Tubi. Oh my God.
Hey, viewer discretion is heavily advised.
You dumb?
In the early hours of April 26, 2008, Austrian authorities found themselves staring at a medical mystery. A 19-year-old woman
Nightbot ain't playing.
Was in critical condition, unresponsive, and suffering from symptoms no doctor could fully explain. Her grandfather, a man named Josef Fritzl, stood beside her and offered a story that unraveled faster than the girl's vital signs. He claimed Kirstin's mother, his own daughter, had joined a cult decades earlier, cut ties, and occasionally left children on his doorstep like parcels needing care. The doctors didn't believe him. The police didn't either. Something about his explanations felt mechanical, as if he were reciting lines rather than describing events. The details didn't match reality. They didn't even match each other. Investigators pressed him. They asked where Elizabeth was. They demanded verifiable records. Fritzl stalled. He repeated phrases, rearranged timelines, and behaved like a man whose lies had never been challenged before. This was not the panic of someone caught off guard. It was the confusion of someone who had controlled the narrative for so long, he'd forgotten how truth works in the hands of people who don't belong to him. Nobody was prepared for what they were about to find. For
Girl in the
24 years,
basement?
since August 28th, 1984, Elizabeth had been living beneath the same house where police now stood.
Dang, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shawty, bro, golly, Shawty been in the basement for 24 years. You know what I'm saying? 24. Ever since 1984. Oh my God.
She wasn't missing. She wasn't dead. She wasn't part of a cult. She was in a hidden complex below ground that Josef Fritzl had designed, expanded, and maintained with the kind of devotion most people reserve for careers or hobbies. The level of preparation was so extreme that it bordered on
prison sentence.
obsession. Multiple reinforced doors, electronic locks, ventilation systems.
Dang, hold on, let me see this job. God, oh yeah, you ain't getting out of that, bro. Bro built the freaking
careers or hobbies.
The
level of preparation
Look at
was
him.
so extreme that it bordered on engineering obsession.
Dang.
Multiple reinforced doors, electronic locks, ventilation systems.
Bro,
and
yeah, you ain't getting out of that.
modifications executed without raising suspicion.
You ain't getting out of
He
that.
hid the entrance behind shelving in a basement workshop. Anyone walking past saw only clutter and tools. The real doorway was concealed behind objects chosen specifically to look boring. It was camouflage made from domestic normality. To reach the chamber, investigators followed Fritzl through a sequence of locked spaces. A corridor, a storage area, another door, another lock. Each step more surreal than the last. When he finally opened the final barrier, the air shifted. They weren't stepping into a criminal hideout. They were stepping into an alternate timeline, a place where an entire family had grown up without sunlight, without neighbors, without any sense that the world contained options. The first thing they found wasn't a prison. It was a home. That made it infinitely worse. Inside lived Elizabeth and 3 of her children, all born underground. They had beds, a kitchenette, a bathroom, and improvised decorations marking birthdays and holidays. Someone had tried to create normalcy in a space where normal wasn't possible.
Man, you better kill this man, bro.
Evidence of attempts to expand the living area. Concrete chipped away slowly, year after year, as if space itself were earned through labor rather than given by
Like, dang, bro, you just ain't gonna try to fight back? You know what I'm saying? You just not gonna try to fight back, bro. Dang, G, you just accepting your fate? You know what I'm saying? Like, he right there, bro. I get a dang knife, bro, hiding. You ain't got no weapons in there or something, bro. You feel me? You just gonna sit in the basement for 24 plus years, huh? You just ain't gonna fight back. You know what I mean?
One of the boys had grown taller than the ceiling and spent his life walking at an angle because the architecture of his world physically prevented him from standing straight. When your environment reshapes your bones, it doesn't just imprison your body, it edits your identity. The children above ground faced a different confusion. They'd been raised by Fritzl and his wife, registered legally through paperwork supported by letters that Elizabeth supposedly wrote. Those letters were carefully structured, using phrases meant to suggest autonomy, while avoiding any details that would be easy to verify. In hindsight, they read more like communiques, written under supervision than correspondence from a woman living freely. Social services accepted them. Foster arrangements were approved. Authorities asked no questions. Nobody wondered why a woman who had supposedly fled home years earlier kept returning only long enough to abandon infants at her parents' doorstep, then vanish again without ever being seen. The entire system swallowed the story because the alternative was unthinkable. Meanwhile, neighbors heard odd noises from the basement over the years. Fritzl dismissed them as plumbing issues. People believed him. They continued renting rooms from him. They shared walls with a nightmare they never recognized because the human mind routinely protects itself from possibilities that feel too grotesque to exist. Fritzl didn't need to hide the truth with brilliance. He hid it with audacity. Once Elizabeth was freed, the narrative that Fritzl had curated for 24 years collapsed in days. DNA analysis confirmed that every detail he had constructed was a lie. His justifications shifted from logistics to psychology. He described the underground world as something he managed, as if responsibility and possession were interchangeable concepts. He spoke about routines, chores, and celebrations, as if those things canceled out everything else. He believed consistency was a form of care. He believed control was a kind of love. His statements revealed something chilling. He didn't see himself as a monster. He saw himself as necessary. At trial, jurors watched hours of Elizabeth's recorded
Bro
testimony.
said,
The footage
that's some sick junk, man. That's some real, it's that necessary. Like, bro, it ain't your job to, like I said, bro, You know what I mean? Like you overdoing it, bro. You know what I mean? All that is necessary and all that. You got people locked up in the basement. You could be a good parent without locking people up in the basement, bro. Come on, necessary. Yeah, you overdoing it, bro. You overdoing strict. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Like,
overwhelming, they had to take breaks because the mind has limits.
what are you talking about?
Reality does not care where they are. When Elizabeth appeared in person, disguised, silent,
Girl was locked up in the basement for 24 years talking about it. I felt like I was necessary. Man, you ain't necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I said. Mental health, man, it's a real thing, bro. He's deceived. He's deceiving himself. He actually think that what he did was right. You know what I'm saying? He deceiving himself, bro. Had a girl locked up in the basement. What type of person is going to leave a person locked up in the basement for 24 years without sunlight? You know what I'm saying? That girl don't even know what sun. That girl was in that basement for 24 years. She don't even know what neighbors look like. She don't even know what sunlight is. Imagine being in that dark room. You know what I'm saying?
saw her and something inside him cracked. He changed his plea. Whatever fantasy he'd lived collapsed the instant he could no longer pretend Elizabeth existed, only in the environment he controlled.
R. Kelly, I don't know how to talk type people.
He now spends his days...
I ain't gonna lie, man. It's something about me, bro. I just feel like R. Kelly, bro. I feel like R. Kelly ain't do some of that junk. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like R. Kelly ain't do some of that junk, bro. I feel like them folks were lying to R. Kelly, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like them folks, like I said, bro, you got some people that be doing some effed up junk, bro. Now, I mean, we can't act like these women just perfect, bro. We can't act like these women just ain't be liars, bro. Like when they did to my boy Deshaun Watson, bro. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? That Leah junk was real. No, I'm talking about that Leah junk, bro. When I'm talking about the other ones, bro. I don't know how to hog type people. You know what I mean? His freaking interview, bro. I feel like bro was telling the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to some of that junk, bro. Some of the junk he did, bro, possibly. Some of that junk he didn't do, but I'm telling y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for Deshaun Watson. I'm telling y'all, bro. Deshaun Watson ain't do all that junk. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, bro. You got to worry about the girls that you let in your life, bro. I'm telling you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Telling you, Watson ain't been the same after that, bro. And I think for me, and we're just scarring off the lot, I feel like Deshaun Watson gonna start over Shadur Sanders. We're not talking about the NFL, bro. I'm just keeping the bees with y'all, bro. You think they finna let Deshaun Watson sit, bro? After all that money he making, bro. And then Shadur Sanders coming off the freaking career, coming off the freaking season he just had. Throwing 10 interceptions. I'm telling you, I don't feel like it's Deshaun Watson. I feel like it's the dang Cleveland Browns. I'm gonna keep it easy. I feel like it's the Cleveland Browns that's destroying Deshaun Watson. Before Deshaun Watson came to the Cleveland Browns, bro, he was fire as freak, bro. There ain't one good quarterback that was in Cleveland other than Baker Mayfield. He wasn't even like that for real. He was straight, but I'm just saying.
Monastery, cut off from the empire he created beneath his own home. Elizabeth and her children were relocated, assigned new identities, and given access to medical and psychological.
Hold on. Hold on. So you and your children was locked up. What the freak? So you and your children was locked up.
Assigned new identities and given access to medical and psychological care. The ones raised underground had to learn what the sky was. They had to understand that a door can open without permission. They had to rewire instinct. Even after all of this, the question that refuses to die isn't how Fritzl did it. The question is how nobody else noticed, how a house can contain two realities separated by a staircase, how a family can exist above another family without ever hearing the sound of their existence, how a society can be so certain of its own safety that it fails to look beneath the floorboards. Lifetime made a movie about a version of this story.
I got a question. Why you're not trying to jump him? Like, why are we not trying to harm him? That's all I'm saying. It's three of y'all. Why are we not trying to harm him? You feel me? That's all I'm saying. Like, why we just let him just walk around there just loose? He gotta get some blows in the face. He gotta get slapped with some. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we just let him just walk around? It's three. Why we just let him walk around freely up in here, man? You ain't handcuffed. It's nothing.
The version doesn't end when the door opens. It ends when people stop assuming that the unthinkable is impossible.
Open water.
In 2003, a low-budget survival thriller called Open Water was released, written and directed by husband and wife filmmakers Chris Kentis and Laura Lau, both experienced scuba divers themselves. They wanted the film to feel as real as possible, and it was. The actors weren't surrounded by special effects or green screens. They were actually in the water, surrounded by real Caribbean reef and blacktip sharks.
Oh no.
A shark handler floated nearby just off camera as the actors treaded water for hours while filming. The story concerns an American couple who goes scuba diving while on vacation. only to find themselves stranded miles from shore in shark-filled waters when the crew of their boat accidentally leaves them behind. Behind the film's success lies a real-life story that inspired it: the disappearance of Tom and Eileen Lonergan. Thomas Lonergan and his wife Eileen Haynes were a quiet, adventurous couple. Both were graduates of Louisiana State University. They met in college, fell in love, and got married in Texas. They weren't thrill seekers, but they loved travel and the outdoors. After college, they joined the Peace Corps, spending 2 years teaching on Tuvalu, a small remote island in the Pacific. After that, they took another assignment in Fiji. They were experienced divers. In early 1998, they decided to take a break from their work and spend time exploring Australia's Great Barrier Reef. It was meant to be the trip of a lifetime. On January 25, 1998, Tom and Eileen boarded the Outer Edge, a dive boat operated by a local company in Port Douglas, Queensland. The boat carried 26 passengers that day, including the couple. The destination was St. Crispin's Reef, one of the region's most popular dive sites, a mosaic of coral and blue water about
Man, you think I'm finna go out there, you must be smoking on some good dopey. You know what I'm saying? Can't pay me $1 million to go out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's a different world. I'm cool. Just staying on land. Look at this water. It looks demonic.
One of the region's most popular dive sites, a mosaic.
Think I'm finna go out there, bro? You really think I'm finna go out there, bro? We must be out your dang mind. Think I'm finna go out there, boy.
And blue water.
It trips me when people say experience. You know, experience scuba diving. Experience. No such thing, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. There's no such thing as being too experienced. There's no such thing. I've heard about experienced skydivers getting freaking killed. I'm talking about parachute ain't open, laying flat on his dang face. And bro was experienced. I remember doing that story. A lot of y'all probably don't remember about that experienced skydiver. You know what I'm saying? Experienced skydiver freaking jumped out the plane, had somebody with him too. Parachute wasn't open. What's your experience? How your experience gonna matter? You know what I'm saying? Once that parachute don't open. You know what I'm saying? Your experience don't matter no more. That parachute ain't open. You going straight to the ground, bro. Hit straight to the ground. Pop! Dead in an instant. That experience didn't mean anything. So all that little experience, all that, man, experience my a-hole. You know what I'm saying? Experience my a-hole. You feel me? Care about none of that experience, man.
25 miles from shore, they dove through.
Had 30 years of experience.
The sea was calm.
20 years of experience. Still die. DOA. All it takes is one mess up. All it takes is one. You know what I'm saying? One.
Here, on their last dive, sometime after.
Not more experienced than life. I promise you that.
The surface, all except Tom and Eileen.
You ain't more experienced than that ocean.
In the rush of checking tanks and counting heads, no one noticed they were missing. The Outer Edge pulled anchor and left for shore, leaving the couple behind in open water. It wasn't until 2 days later, January 27th, that anyone realized what had happened. When the Outer Edge was cleaned and prepared for another trip, a crew member found a canvas bag left behind. Inside were 2 wallets, a logbook, and clothes, all belonging to the Lonergans.
And the way you
The
survived.
truth hit. The couple had never returned from the reef. A massive air and sea search began immediately. Helicopters swept the area and patrol boats with divers moved across hundreds of miles of sea, but there was no sign of them. Days later, small clues began to appear. In February 1998, a woman's wetsuit washed ashore on a beach in North Queensland, about 75 miles from where they'd last been seen. It matched Eileen's size. Marine biologists studying the barnacles attached to the fabric determined it had been submerged since January. There was no evidence of a shark attack. Then in June 1998, more of their gear surfaced on a beach near Port Douglas, 121 kilometers, about 75 miles, from St. Crispin's Reef. The items were unmistakably theirs: 2 inflatable dive jackets with the Lonergans' names written on them, and a small white board used for writing underwater. On it, written in shaky, desperate handwriting, were these words: Monday, January 26, 1998. To anyone who can help us, we have been abandoned on Agincourt Reef by MV Outer Edge on Monday, January 25th, 1998. Please help us before we die. That note proved that Tom and Eileen had survived at least a full day after the boat left.
Full day?
The discovery fueled countless theories. Some speculated that they might have staged their disappearance, faking their deaths to start a new life somewhere else, or ending their time at sea intentionally. These rumors came from Tom's personal diary, which police later found in their belongings. In one entry, he wrote about wanting a quick and peaceful end. Eileen's writings said she would stay by his side no matter the outcome. But Eileen's parents insisted those quotes were ripped out of context and that much of the diary was never made public. They said the two were deeply in love and had every reason to live. Police agreed. Their bank accounts were untouched. Their insurance policies remained unclaimed. They had left everything behind.
They dead, bro.
Experts testified that dehydration and exhaustion were the couple's likely cause. The ocean sun is merciless.
We ain't finna make up no fake conspiracy theories. They dead, bro. You know what I'm saying? We trying to make something and what it is. They just dead, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, bro. You feel me? Faking death for what? You know what I'm saying? So let's not try to make up a conspiracy theory. You know how y'all get. Try to make up some conspiracy theories. It's not even real. They dead, bro. It's just plain and simple. Dead and gone.
Each passing hour, dehydration sets in faster. Divers float on the surface, believing help will come. But with no food, no fresh water, and nothing to shield them.
One thing I ain't gonna do, bro, I'm not gonna just sit and wait to die. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Even though I probably do die, if I die, I'm gonna die fighting. That's just me. Mother effer, I'm gonna try to find land. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to find some land. I'm not just finna sit there and just wait to die. Just floating in the middle of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Just floating. Just waiting to die. Waiting for help. F that. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna swim till I can't swim no more. I'm gonna try to swim to shore. You know, if I fight, I'm fighting. If I die, bro, I'm down with a fight, bro. I'm telling y'all right now. I only got one life to live. I'm finna take a little break. I ain't stopping. Not finna just sit there and wait to die. You know what I'm saying? Freaking help coming on the way. F that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go to shore. For surely,
a phenomenon known as paradoxical.
I don't care if it's 1 thou miles. I don't care if it's 2 thou miles. I don't care if it's 3 thou miles. You know what I'm saying? We gonna swim them thou.
Stripping away clothing due to delirium has been observed in hypothermia and heat exhaustion.
Bro say you gonna get tired faster. So what you want me to do, bro? You know what I'm saying? What you want me to do, cuz? Want me to just sit there and wait to die, you stupid buffoon? You know you gotta tread, right? You know treading gonna get you tired, right? You know what I'm saying? What you want me to do, bro? You feel me? Huh? What you want me to do? You feel me? Just sit there and just freaking wait to die? You feel me? Because you gonna get tired treading too. You know what I mean? Freak is you talking about, bro? I'm not finna wait to freaking die, boy.
Likely what happened to them. Once they removed parts of their wetsuits and gear,
said I'm gonna get tired fast. It is what it is, bro.
Even the calmest diver can't stay afloat for long. Eileen's father, John Haynes, believed they became disoriented from the sun and salt water, drifted together, and eventually drowned, perhaps taken by the current or by sharks afterward. But there was never any clear evidence of an animal attack. The Australian media followed the story relentlessly. Locals were outraged. How could 2 people vanish in a tightly regulated diving industry without anyone noticing? The skipper of the Outer Edge had failed to perform a proper head count. No one verified the physical presence of each person. For 2 days, the Outer Edge ran new trips while Tom and Eileen were somewhere out there, floating, waiting, writing messages on a board that wouldn't be found for months. The coroner, Noel Noonan, dismissed all theories and formally charged the skipper with the unlawful killing of Tom and Eileen Lonergan. Though he was later acquitted, his company pleaded guilty to negligence. Outer Edge Dive was fined and went out of business soon after.
Dang.
Even years later, it still haunts people. They would have seen the dive boat vanish into a dot, and then into nothing. They would have treaded water, conserved energy, written that note, and kept believing someone would come back. The film Open Water captures that vulnerability, the slow realization that help isn't coming, that you're floating in 64 million square miles of ocean with no engine, no radio, and no idea if anyone even knows you're missing. What the movie shows is terrifying. What actually happened to Tom and Eileen Lonergan is worse, because unlike the film's characters, who at least know immediately that something went wrong, the Lonergans had to process the fact that a professional dive operation, the people they trusted with their lives, had simply forgotten they existed. Their bodies were never found. Somewhere in the Coral Sea, 2 people who joined the Peace Corps to help others, who taught children on remote islands, who loved travel and adventure, just disappeared. Not because of a shark attack, but because someone didn't count properly.
Oh, man.
On September
How long have I been streaming?
1983, 23-year-old Tammy Oldham and her 34-year-old fiancé Richard Sharp set sail from Tahiti to San Diego aboard a 43-foot yacht they didn't own, heading toward a hurricane they knew was coming, all for a $10,000 paycheck and 2...
Hey, see, that's their fault, man. You got to understand, at the end of the day, bro, you got to look at this, bro. It's your fault. If you would have never went into the ocean, you would have never died. You want to go, the ocean is not meant for human beings, bro. You know what I'm saying? God made land for a reason. God made oceans for a reason. Humans just do what the freak they want to do, bro, and it costs you. You want to go out in the ocean? It's effed up what happened to you. But if you never would have went out in the ocean, you would have still been alive to this day. You know what I'm saying? But you want to go out in the ocean, so that's what's going to happen to you. You seeing this right there? You seeing this right here? This story right here? They knew a hurricane was coming. Let me go and just see this right quick. Let me go and just scur off the lot back. Scur off the lot.
Heading toward a hurricane they knew.
Oh, let me go and just scur off the lot again.
Go aboard a 43-foot yacht they didn't own.
Okay.
Heading toward a hurricane they knew was coming.
Heading toward a hurricane they knew what was coming. So if you get switched to booty, you know what I'm saying? If you get belt to booty by the waves, you think I'm gonna feel sorry for you because you knew the hurricane was coming, but you did it anyway because of what?
All for a $10,000 paycheck and 2 plane tickets.
All for a $10,000 paycheck and 2 plane tickets. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers risk their lives for $10,000 and 2 plane tickets. Good God almighty, dog. And you want me to feel sorry for you? You know what I mean? Hey, sometimes you better take it easy or you end up like Beezy.
20 days later, only one of them would still be capable of spending that money. The 2018 film Adrift tells their story, though calling it their story becomes technically complicated about halfway through. Shailene Woodley plays Tammy, a free-spirited sailor who meets Richard Sharp, played by Sam Claflin, in Tahiti 5 months before everything goes sideways. They fall in love, plan trips to Japan, and when a British couple offers Richard $10,000 to deliver their luxury yacht Hazania to California, he negotiates Tommy's inclusion in both the voyage and the payment. He proposes with a handmade ring. She says yes. The ocean, as it turns out, had other plans for the registry. The film spends considerable time showing them receive warnings about Hurricane Raymond. They sail toward it anyway, because apparently $10,000 and young love create a unique form of weather-related optimism. When the storm hits...
Bro, one thing about me, y'all, bro, and the thing is, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the way God give you warnings, bro, is like, it's so clear. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mean what I said, y'all? I said, people don't die without warning. I just don't believe it, y'all. I don't believe whether it's cancer, whether you got some people that die. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say everybody, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just speaking for most people. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't die without warning. I'm telling y'all, bro. Right when I did the Ocean Gate, you know, this situation, warnings. God gonna give you a warning, man. I'm telling you, before destruction hits. You know what I'm saying? And it be so clear. You start looking, I'm like, okay, I heard you. You know what I'm saying? I heard you. You feel me? Warnings be so clear.
And winds that essentially turn the yacht into a floating blender. Richard orders Tammy below deck, right before a wave the size of a small building.
Oh my God, y'all dead.
Tammy's head meets the cabin wall. Richard meets the Pacific Ocean. His safety harness snaps, and he sinks while unconscious, which, given what's about to happen, might have been the more merciful outcome. Tammy wakes up 27 hours later to discover the masts are gone, the radio doesn't work, the engine won't start, and her fiancé has been returned to the sea. But here's where the film does something genuinely clever. For most of the runtime, Richard is still there. Tammy finds him clinging to the dinghy, drags him aboard despite his shattered leg and broken ribs, nurses him, talks to him, plans with him. The audience watches her care for this injured man for 41 days. Then,
41
in
days.
one quiet moment, the camera reveals...
So y'all was out there with funky breath for 41 days? Just straight funk?
Tammy finally accepts. The injured Richard was never there. She'd been having an extended conversation...
Oh, shoot. You know what I'm saying? So bro was never there, so she was hallucinating? Bro was hallucinating.
And for 41
she was hallucinating.
days. Then, in one quiet moment, the camera reveals what Tammy finally accepts. The injured Richard was never there. She'd been having an extended conversation with the spot where a person should be, because the alternative was accepting that she was floating alone on a broken boat in the middle of 64 million square miles of water with no engine, no radio, and no idea if she was even heading in the right direction. The film shows her jury-rigging a sail from broken poles and storm equipment, navigating by sextant and watch like it's the 1700s, surviving on canned food while manually steering toward Hawaii. A cargo ship passes close enough for her to fire multiple flares. It sails past without slowing. On day 41, a Japanese research vessel finally spots her and tows Hazanya to shore. What the film captures with uncomfortable accuracy is how the real Tammy spent those 41 days. She did rig a makeshift sail from a broken
41
spinnaker
days.
pole and storm jib. She did fashion a pump to drain the flooded cabin. She did determine that San Diego was no longer viable and manually plotted a 1,500-mile course to Hawaii using celestial navigation, which is the maritime equivalent of finding your way home using nothing but vibes and 18th century math.
41
The movie's
days?
depiction of her physical deterioration, the slow realization that help isn't coming, the mental gymnastics required to keep moving forward when every single system designed to keep you alive has stopped working. These aren't Hollywood dramatizations. This is what happened when a 23-year-old woman woke up on a half-destroyed boat to discover that the universe had just handed her a multiple-choice test with only one question: keep existing or don't. What the film doesn't linger on is what it means to spend 41 days with someone who isn't there. Tammy didn't just cope with Richard's absence. Her brain manufactured an entire injured version of him, complete with broken bones and fever, someone who needed her help, who gave her a purpose beyond just not stopping. The hallucination wasn't random, it was load-bearing. It kept her making decisions, kept her problem-solving, kept her acting like someone who had a reason to reach land. When that cargo ship sailed past her flares, she questioned whether she was hallucinating that too, which raises the deeply uncomfortable question of how many other ships might have actually been there. The movie shows her returning to Tahiti after recovery, visiting Richard's boat, placing her engagement ring around a flower and releasing it into the water. The real Tammy did return. She did process what happened. And then, in what might be the most existentially defiant response to trauma possible, she kept sailing. Not occasionally, not therapeutically. She remained an avid sailor, continuing to trust the same ocean that had taken her fiancé and spent 41 days trying to finish the job.
So you finna keep selling? Okay. You want to keep selling? She want to keep selling. You thought you were hallucinating that situation right there? Oh, it was very real. You know what I mean? Oh, you want to keep selling? Oh, next time you ain't gonna be so lucky. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to keep selling, right? Oh, shoot.
Found.
You still want to go in the ocean?
Out there somewhere, which means technically.
Dang, some of you mother effers just don't learn.
Crossing to San Diego, just taking a different route than planned.
Some of these mother effers just don't learn, boy.
In 2005,
Still, I'm gonna
Australia
continue to
released a
sail,
horror film
man.
marketed with one of the film industry's favorite phrases.
Man, I would never touch that ocean again a day in my life. I'll get sick looking at the ocean. Staying out there for 41 days. Do y'all know how long 41 days is? Did you miss me? 41 days. This lady was in that ocean. She's still sailing.
On true events.
Pathetic.
And boy, does that phrase do some
It's kinda
heavy
pathetic.
lifting. Because when you compare what actually happened with what the movie shows, it looks like someone tried to recreate a Wikipedia article after reading it once while completely drunk.
Dang, everything in the ocean?
Wolf Creek follows three backpackers,
Dang.
two British women, Liz and Christy, and their Australian friend Ben, as they road trip across Australia's outback in 1999. They stop at Wolf Creek National Park, where their watches mysteriously stop working and their car refuses to start. Hours later, a helpful local named Mick Taylor shows up, offers to tow them to his camp, and promises to fix their vehicle. Mick seems friendly enough, telling them stories while making a show of repairing
There's something
the
about
car.
bro.
Then he drugs their water, and they wake up in his personal collection of horrors. Liz finds herself restrained in a shed. She manages to break free and hears Mick confronting Christy in a nearby garage. She sets their now dismantled car on fire as a distraction, injures Mick with his own rifle, and the two women attempt to escape in his truck. They manage to push Mick's vehicle off a cliff, a minor inconvenience for someone apparently indestructible. When Liz returns to the camp to find another vehicle, she discovers Mick's trophy room. Dozens of cars, travelers' belongings, and video cameras documenting his previous help sessions with stranded tourists. She finds footage showing Mick had been following them long before they reached Wolf Creek. Then Mick appears in the back seat of the car she's trying to steal and attacks her. The scene that follows is intentionally disturbing. He incapacitates her and demands information about Christy's location. Meanwhile, Christy reaches a highway and flags down a passing motorist. Mick stops them and disables the driver's ability to continue, then gives chase. Christy manages to sideswipe Mick's car into a ditch, but he damages her tire, causing her to crash. She attempts to crawl away, because hope is persistent even when it's pointless, and Mick uses his weapon again. He places both individuals into the motorist's car and destroys it. The film then reveals Ben's fate. He's been held in a mine shaft this entire time, in a truly unsettling position. He manages to free himself, escapes into the outback, becomes severely dehydrated, and collapses beside a dirt road. A Swedish couple finds him and gets him to a hospital. The movie ends with title cards explaining that despite multiple police searches, no trace of Liz or Christy was ever found.
Dang.
Early investigations were disorganized, hampered by confusion over the crime locations and the alleged unreliability of the only witness. Ben spent 4 months in police custody before being cleared of suspicion. The final shot shows Mick walking into the sunset with his rifle.
Dang, bro, you gonna lock up him when the real psychopath out there? See what I'm saying? You see what I don't deal with the police, bro? I see what I be saying, bro. I was saying I ain't got no problem with the police, bro, but bro, I'm not finna call the police, bro. Something happened to somebody, bro. That man spent multiple months in jail and he ain't the one that did anything. He was the one, he was trapped too. The real psychopath is this man right here, but I mean, that's what I'm saying, bro. Hey, it's not that I don't want to call help. You feel me? It's just police, bro. Y'all be tweaking sometimes, bro. Try to look at me like I'm the suspect, like I'm the reason the girls died. Mother, if I was freaking locked up with them too, frick is you talking about? You look at me like I'm the suspect. That's why I'm cool, bro. I can see a dead body, bro, on the side of the road. I'm not finna call 5-0. Sorry, bro. I don't want you telling me, I don't want you interrogating me, bro, and all that whole time, bro. I was just trying to call you, bro. Tell you that a dead body was on the road, bro. That's all I was trying to do, bro. Whole time now you interrogating me, acting like I'm the suspect now. Cool with that, bro. I'm cool, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody else will find it. Somebody else will, you know what I'm saying? You dead anyway. Me calling the cops ain't gonna do no good for you. You already dead.
Stranded motorists. It's a neat package. 3 victims, 1 survivor, 1 indestructible villain.
Yeah.
Director Greg McLean crafted Mick Taylor as a distinctly Australian nightmare. Part Steve Irwin, part Ivan Milat, with a dash of Bradley Murdoch thrown in for geographical accuracy. And this is where the based on true events claim starts getting creative with its definitions. Between 1989 and 1993, 7 young people disappeared while backpacking through New South Wales, Australia. 5 were foreign tourists, 3 German, 2 British, and 2 were Australians from Melbourne. All were aged 19 to 22. All vanished without explanation, their families left with nothing but unanswered questions and missing person reports that went nowhere. Unlike Wolf Creek's version, where Mick operates out of a single isolated camp and eliminates his victims efficiently, the real story unfolded across 4 years and involved a level of patience that suggests the perpetrator wasn't in any particular hurry. On September 19, 1992, 2 runners doing an orienteering exercise in Belanglo State Forest, about 15 kilometers southwest of the town of Berrima, discovered remains that had been concealed. The next morning, police found a second site 30 meters away. Dental records confirmed they were Carol Clark, 21, and Joanne Walters, 22, 2 British backpackers last seen leaving King's Cross on April 18, 1992.
Crazy.
Investigators determined Walters had been attacked with a sustained level of force, and Clark had been shot at close range multiple times, her body positioned in a way that suggested repetition or practice. Police conducted a thorough search of Belanglo and concluded there were no more victims. They were wrong. In October 1993, over a year later, a local man searching for
Bro was just a serial killer.
bones in a remote section of the forest. Police returned and quickly located 2 bodies, James Gibson, 19, and Deborah Everest, 19, a couple from Melbourne, who'd vanished on December 30th, 1989, on their way to a music festival. Gibson's remains showed he'd been struck with a large blade that severed vertebrae, immobilizing him. Additional wounds indicated he wouldn't have survived. Everest had been violently beaten and had disturbing injuries. The confusing part is that Gibson's camera had been found on December 31st, 1989, beside a road at Galston Gorge in northern Sydney, over 120 kilometers away from where his body turned up. His backpack appeared 3 months later on March 13th, 1990, in the same area. Someone had gone to considerable effort to create a false trail. On November 1st, 1993, during a police sweep,
Now some more bodies, bro.
skeleton in a clearing along a fire trail.
No, you ain't find no
It
more.
belonged to
Oh
Simone
my
Schmiedel,
God.
21, from Germany.
Bro was a serial killer, bro. Whole time, bro was a serial killer.
January 20th, 1991.
Bro killed multiple people before he even killed these people.
She'd been attacked violently. Wounds had penetrated her spine and organs.
Put them buckshot right in your
Found
face.
that the scene didn't match Schmiedel's description,
Dang, got the
but
skull.
belonged to another missing backpacker, Anya Habshid, 20. 3 days later, on November 4th, police found Habshid and her boyfriend Gabor Neugebauer, 21.
Y'all gonna find this motherfucker?
Graves 50 meters apart. Habshid had been restrained, and her life ended in a particularly shocking way that involved the removal of her head,
Dang.
which was never recovered,
Appetite.
either taken or disposed of elsewhere for unknown reasons. Neugebauer had been shot multiple times. Forensic evidence indicated some victims were conscious during parts of these ordeals, meaning they had time to understand the situation they were in. And honestly, that's pretty terrifying. So that's 7 people, all found in the same forest, all disposed of between 1989 and 1993 in similar ways. Left in remote bushland and camouflaged with natural materials, each victim showed signs of extended time spent with the culprit. Campsites were discovered near the body locations, suggesting he'd kept them alive for a while. Matching ammunition and cartridge boxes from 2 weapons linked all the crime scenes. The Nesses Dallos police established Task Force Air on October 14, 1993, with over 20 detectives. The government offered a $500,000 reward. Public warnings went out, particularly aimed at international backpackers, advising them to avoid hitchhiking along the Hume Highway, which is like putting up a sign that says, "Beware of leopard," after the leopard has already eaten 7 people. Police used link analysis technology on vehicle records, gym memberships, gun licenses, and internal police records. Now,
How long I been streaming, chat? How long I been streaming?
To 230, then to 32. They were looking for a local with a 4-wheel drive, someone familiar with Belanglo State
Gotta catch
Forest,
this mother.
someone comfortable spending extended time in the bush.
I can't end this knowing you ain't catch that
November
mother.
13th, 1993, police received a call from Paul Onions, a 24-year-old in the UK. On January 25th, 1990, right in the middle of the crime timeline, Onions had been hitchhiking from Liverpool Station toward Mildura when a man calling himself Bill picked him up south of Casula. Just south of Mittagong, less than 1 kilometer from Belanglo State Forest, Bill stopped the car, produced a firearm and ropes, and announced it was a robbery. Onions managed to flee while Bill pursued him and discharged the weapon several times. Onions flagged down a passing motorist named Joanne Berry, and together they sped to the Bowral police station to report the incident. The original police report had gone missing, but a constable had recorded details in her notebook, one of those minor clerical habits that occasionally prevents complete disaster. When investigators re-examined Onion's statement in April 1994, they realized he'd encountered the Belanglo killer and lived to describe him. Onions flew to Australia to assist with the investigation. On May 5th, 1994, Onions positively identified a man named Ivan Milat as Bill. Unlike Mick Taylor in Wolf Creek, who operates from a remote abandoned mining camp where he's the only human for miles, Ivan Milat lived in a house at Cinnabar Street, Eagle Vale, with family nearby. He wasn't some isolated outback dweller. He was 51 years old, worked various jobs, had a wife and siblings who visited regularly. He was, by all external appearances, a normal member of society who just happened to spend his weekends engaging in activities that would eventually become one of Australia's most infamous criminal cases. Police surveillance of Milat's house began on February 26, 1994.
And that's why you don't trust mother effers right there. You know what I'm saying? Whole time my man is a family man. He's not in a remote area. He's a family man. You know what I'm saying? Not in a million years, I bet the people that knew him, not in a million years they thought this would ever happen. You know what I mean? Whole time they don't know bro shooting out a limo. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know that bro just chopping up bodies. You know what I mean? They don't even know that bro got 7 bodies under his belt. You feel me? Coming back home, acting like nothing happened. Going to work, acting like he's just a good person. Whole time, bro, done killed 7 people in the force. You really never truly know how people are. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. You don't know how people are, man. You don't know who you walking across from, bro. I'm telling you, bro. You don't know what's going on in the person's mind. That's why I say, y'all, I cannot trust people. I can't do it. I can't. I got to watch every single person because I don't know what's coming across your mind. I don't know what you're thinking of. I don't know what you've been dwelling on, bro. I don't know if you've been dwelling on shooting up the place. I don't know if you've been dwelling on murdering. I don't know you, bro. Even if I do know you, I don't trust you. I cannot trust a human being. I can't. You feel me? I just cannot do it, bro.
Recently sold his silver Nissan Patrol 4-wheel drive, the same vehicle
Can't do it,
witnesses
man.
had described shortly after the discovery of Clark and
These
Wolf
people
Creek.
ain't do nothing to nobody, and y'all still got the nerve to say, oh, I ain't got no upside here. Nobody looking for me. I don't do harm to nobody. You still got people that say that junk to this day. Still got people that say this junk I don't hurt nobody, man. I don't need a gun. I don't hurt nobody. Who wants to hurt me? Who wanted to hurt them? They was just 7 kids going backpacking, bro. You got a little madman came out and just decapitated one, shot one close range for no reason. There's so many people that get killed for no reason. Matter of fact, dang near 99% of my true crime reactions, people got killed for no freaking good reason. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. 99%.
Milat hadn't been working on any
Most of my videos, people getting killed for no reason.
Acquaintances mentioned his fascination with weapons, which is the kind of detail
Look at that mother
that's
effer.
relevant in hindsight, but probably didn't raise alarms at the time because this is Australia,
Yo,
where plenty of people own firearms.
bro, look like a
without turning into
demon.
Serial predators.
Well, let me see that mother effer again.
Any of the days the victims disappeared, acquaintances mentioned his fascination with weapons, which is the kind of detail that seems relevant in hindsight, but probably didn't raise alarms at the time because this is Australia, where plenty of people own firearms without turning into serial predators. On May 22nd, 1994, 50 police officers,
Round it up.
heavily
Round it up.
operations unit members, surrounded Milat's home and arrested him on robbery
Thank you.
charges
I was like, bro, please don't let me end this video and y'all ain't caught this buffoon.
to the Onions attack. The search of his house revealed rifles and weapons consistent with those used in the crimes, along with a pistol and a large knife, the same type of weapon Mick Taylor uses in the film. Police also found foreign currency, clothing, camping equipment,
All that evidence, man.
and cameras belonging to several victims.
Love it.
Searches of homes belonging to Milat's mother and 5 brothers uncovered a total of 24 weapons, 250 kilograms of ammunition.
Yeah, make sure the mother, I'm not gonna lie, the mother look crazy. I'm gonna keep it a beezy.
Uncovered a total
Yeah, the mother look crazy. So make sure the mother ain't had nothing to do with it, and make sure the other 5 brothers ain't had nothing to do with it. I just need them. I need them to all be interrogated. I need them all to be suspects right now. I mean, right now.
24
She look like she crazy. I'm telling you.
weapons,
Spirit of
250
discernment.
kilograms of ammunition, and several
Maybe my
weapons
discernment wrong,
belonging
but
to the
hey.
victims. Which raises the question: was Ivan working alone? Or
Ah,
did he have help?
hey.
Police suspected the latter.
Oh, I just said, you know, all them guns on the property, mother and brothers. I was just saying.
Given that most victims had been traveling in pairs and were approached differently. Milat's trial began on March 26, 1996. His defense strategy was to argue that despite overwhelming evidence, there was no direct proof of his guilt, and maybe his brother Richard did it. On July 27, 1996, after 18 weeks of testimony from 145 witnesses, a jury found Milat guilty of all 7 charges. He received 7 consecutive life sentences, plus 18 years without parole. Milat maintained his innocence until his death on October 27, 2019, never admitting involvement. He did, however, give a televised interview in 2004, where he denied his family had been involved, which is a weird thing to emphasize unless your family was, in fact, involved. Police believe Milat may have been connected to additional disappearances: Karen Rowland, 20, found in 1971, Peter Letcher, 18, found in 1988, and Diane Panacchio, 29, found in 1991. In 2001, he was ordered to give evidence at an inquest into 3 other missing backpackers from the Newcastle area: Leanne Goodall, Robin Hickey, and Amanda Robinson, all young women who vanished in the late 1970s while Milat was working in the area. No charges were filed
And
due
these
to
folks
lack of
died in the
evidence, which is
1970s.
another way of saying
Folks died before we was even born.
everyone strongly suspected him but couldn't prove it. But Wolf Creek isn't just based on Ivan Milat. Remember Bradley Murdoch? On July 14, 2001, 7 years after Milat's arrest, British tourist Peter Falconio, 28, and his girlfriend Joanne Lees, 27, were driving along a remote stretch of highway near Barrow Creek in the Northern Territory. A man in a ute flagged them down, claiming there was something wrong with their vehicle's exhaust. Falconio got out to check. Lees heard a loud
Another
noise.
serial killer
A
motherfucker?
man appeared at her window with a weapon, restrained her hands with cable ties, and covered her head with a bag. Lees managed to escape and hid in bushes for 5 hours before flagging down a road train driver. Peter Falconio's body was never found. In December 2005, Bradley John Murdoch, a drug runner with a criminal history, was convicted of Falconio's murder based on DNA evidence found on Lees's clothing. He received a life sentence with a 28-year non-parole period. So when Wolf Creek's marketing claimed it was based on true events, They meant they took Ivan Milat's 7 victims in Belanglo State Forest, combined them with Bradley Murdoch's Outback Highway attack, relocated everything to Western Australia for cinematic purposes, compressed 4 years of crimes into a single night, added a helpful Swedish couple who weren't part of either real case, and invented an ending where the killer walks free into the sunset. The movie's title cards claim Ben spent 4 months in police custody before being cleared. In reality, Paul Onions, the actual survivor, was never a suspect. He was the witness who helped convict Milat, for which he later received a $200,000 reward that he accepted but reportedly never used. Joanne Lees, who survived
Never
Murdoch's
used it.
attack, was subjected to intense media scrutiny and public skepticism about her story, particularly in Australia, where armchair detectives questioned why she couldn't provide more details about her attacker, or why she'd hidden in the bushes for 5 hours instead of immediately seeking help, as if there's a proper protocol for being confronted by a stranger in the outback. The film ends with Mick walking into the sunset, still out there, still helping travelers. It's meant to be chilling, a reminder that evil persists, except both real offenders were caught, tried, and imprisoned. Milat died in a prison cell at age 74. Murdoch is currently serving his sentence in Darwin's Berrima prison. Neither walked into any sunsets. Here's what Wolf Creek gets right, though. The Australian outback is vast, isolated, and indifferent to human suffering. Travelers do break down in remote areas. People do accept help from strangers because the alternative is staying stranded in a place where dehydration will end you long before help arrives. The film accurately captures the vulnerability of being in an environment where cell phones don't work, roads are empty for hours, and the nearest town is far enough away that screaming is pointless. What it gets wrong is almost everything else. Wolf Creek spawned a franchise, a sequel, a TV series, and another film currently in production.
So that right there is part 1. You know what I'm saying, of disturbing movies based on terrifying real cases. And I'm not gonna lie, that was crazy right there. Wolf Creek? Probably gotta check out some of these freaking videos. I seen The Girl in the Basement. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't seen it, but I definitely like seen it around. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the my Fire Stick, you know. But man, it was a good series, man. We ended on the dot, man. 3 minutes on the freaking dot. Not 3 minutes on the dot, but closer to 3 minutes, you know what I mean? But anyways, man, I appreciate everybody, man, for joining the stream, man.